Hi, man, with eTrailer. If you're just starting your bike journey and you're looking for a way to carry your bikes from point A to point B and still be able to open up your hatch on your 2023 Nissan Rogue, then the Swagman XTC Tilt Bike Rack is going to be one of the best options for you. And this is really nice because while it is more on the entry-level side, we're still going to be able to really operate this pretty well in here. Now it is going to have some limitations, and I want to point out how it's fitting on our vehicle today. So we have a road bike on here, and our handlebars are still pretty close. So if you're on some really bumpy roads, you might make contact. There's still a decent amount of space there. If you wanted to, you could put a pool noodle at the very end or something to cover that, just to give you a little more security. Now a big point to really watch out for is going to be your pedals. And as you can see, we don't have very large pedals on here. Now if you had a mountain bike, you're probably going to make contact. And that's something to think about. This is going to lend itself more to those road bikes. And this is also going to have a 35-pound weight capacity, so those road bikes are a little bit lighter. And what's really nice is we're still going to have a decent tilt, because sometimes when you have these entry-level racks, they don't have great tilt or really any tilt at all. I just got to remove a pin there, and it stays in one spot. So if you need to get a little more leverage on this, which I really don't think you will need to in most situations, but it's nice that I have that option. And now I can open up my hatch. And this is going to be great too if you find yourself, maybe you got to go by the store real quick, pick up a few things, and you want to throw it in your hatch, you're going to have that ability. Or if you want to just get ready for your ride, grab your helmet, your shoes, or even tie your shoes from the spot, that's nice to have too. And when you're done, I can close this up, put this back into the seated position. Now, all you have to do is lift up on it and put that pin safety clip back on. And this is at a kind of an awkward spot, but really for the price of this, I don't mind it at all. Now, if you want to take a closer look at this rack, I'm going to remove my bike. And where I like to start is with these straps on our tires. There's going to be these rubber straps that have the ability just to really pull. You just line up these holes with that tab, and it secures the tires down. Now I do that on the back side too. Pretty quick and easy to do. And it's nice because some straps kind of get in your way the entire time. Those just kind of hang out of the way, so I don't have to worry about that. And then when I come over to this ratcheting hook, what we're going to be having here is it's making frame contact, so I don't really recommend it with any carbon frame or any bikes with a really nice paint job, just so we don't scuff anything up. But from this position, what I really like is you actually have the ability to move those hooks out of your way. Some racks just stop the hook at the very top, and if you're trying to lift up your bike, it just gets in the way. So I appreciate that in a bike rack. And with this off, I can take it out for a ride. Now, you'll notice we still have that center mass up. And when I get back over there, I'm going to lower that down, because if you don't have a bike loaded there, then there's really no point in keeping it up. There's going to be a few things I want to do before I do that. That's going to be putting on my ratcheting hook so I don't lose it, and so it's secured. And putting away these straps. And what's nice is these are actually really easy to move, these cradles. They just slide down this tray, and you can just tighten them up wherever you want them to be, just by tightening this knob. And I like to push mine a little bit more in, just so it's a little bit more compact when I'm driving. And the way we want to lower this mass is by coming here to the center, pulling this pin, and then just lowering this down. You're going to have two directions you can do this. The main thing is just making sure you secure it when it's down. Now sometimes you might make contact with these knobs, so you could try the other direction. See if that works a little bit better for you. If it's not, then you could just try rearranging some things. And now I can put it right in place. But from this point, let's get a few measurements just to get an idea of how this is going to live back here. So I'm going to get our ground clearance to start off with. We have 2 points to think about. I'm going to get it from right here since that is kind of low compared to everything else. And that's going to be a little bit under 13 inches, which isn't too bad for this, especially with it being so close to our vehicle. Now keep in mind with those bikes loaded on here, that's probably going to drop down by maybe an inch or two, but you're still going to have plenty of ground clearance, and that's going to be thanks to this rise in our shank. Now, for the total distance, it sticks out. For a 2-bike carrier, this doesn't stick out very much. And that's going to be from our cradles, about a little bit over 17 inches, which isn't going to take up a whole lot of space on your vehicle. You'll still be able to fit into a lot of tight spaces. The only spaces I really recommend keeping an eye on is if you're in a garage or a really tight parking spot. And how this is going to really interact with the back of our vehicle is nice because we're not going to block anything. We're not going to block our license plates, our taillights, or our back window. Now your backup camera is probably going to catch this in its view, but that's a good thing because you don't want to be backing up and not see where this is. Now this also has a stow position, and this is what I recommend doing if you're putting it in your garage, because the nice thing about this carrier is since it's small and lightweight, it's easy to move. And the way we're going to do that is by putting that mast back up and pulling these 2 additional pins out. Sometimes you gotta wiggle it out, but now we just gotta lift up till this is straight up, and we just push these pins back into place. And now with this in this position, you can really see how small this is. This is very compact. I wouldn't really worry about this fitting in my garage very much. And let's check out how this is actually going to sit on our vehicle. And the way that is, we're going to have this 1.25 inch shank that goes down, and we're going to have this 2-inch sleeve adapter. So what that means is this is going to work with 1.25 inch receivers and 2-inch receivers. We'll then have an anti-rattle bolt that goes through and connects to this clip on the other side. What that anti-rattle bolt is doing is preventing this from rattling around in our receiver, which is really important for a carrier like this because you don't want this coming close to your vehicle because, like you saw earlier, our bikes are relatively close and you don't want that making contact. Now, if you're worried about your bikes making contact, or you want to carry some road or mountain bikes, then I have a different suggestion for you. While this is great, and it's really nice that it has that tilt, you're going to be limited on what you can do with it. So an upgrade you might have to do is going to be the Rocky Mounts monorail bike rack. And not only is it going to sit out a little bit further where you have more clearance to put those mountain bikes on here, it's going to have a higher weight capacity, and it's going to grip your bike from the tires. So it's great for those e-bikes and those carbon frame bikes. So it's overall going to be an upgrade in a lot of areas. The only downside is that is at a much more premium price range. I still recommend looking at it if you're more of an avid biker, but if you're just starting your journey, then I think this is going to be fine for you if you're riding around on those road bikes. But that's just a look at the XTC2 Tilt bike rack on the back of our 2023 Nissan Rogue. I'm Matt. Thanks for watching.
Here on our test course, we'll start by going through the slalom. This is going to show us the side-to-side action. This simulates turning corners or evasively maneuvering. Once we get to the full speed bumps, we'll see the up and down action. This will be just like driving in and out of a parking lot, parking garage, or driveway. Once we get to the alternating speed bumps, we'll see the twisting action. This will simulate hitting a curb or pothole or driving over uneven pavement.